Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to get started here in just a moment, but we want to go over a couple of housekeeping items for you before we get started with today's webinar. A couple things you might notice on your dashboard. The top right, you'll see the Q&A. At any time during the chat, you can put Q&A in there, and we will get those questions. We'll save some time at the end to answer those for you. So just type those in as we go through. You'll also see underneath the Q&A, you'll see an online resources area. That's some additional information that you can use to tap into after the webinar. And then at the bottom you'll see some biographies about Shannon and myself, so if you want to get to know us a little bit more. Obviously you'll see us in the video on the left hand side of your screen, and then in the middle you'll see the slides that we're going to go over for today. So if you want to move any of those elements around, you can drag them around, or if you want to minimize them so they're out of the way and you can pay attention just to the slides in front of you, you can do that as well. So I think without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with today's webinar. So obviously today you've signed up for our webinar on building an online marketing plan for your business. We're going to talk about how you can get really strong results in 2017. My name is Laura Rutter, and I'm a member of the marketing team here at Vivial.
And my name is Shannon Alstead. I am the manager of the Vivial social media marketing team.
So we've got a great webinar in store for you today, and we're going to get started jumping right in because we know this can be very overwhelming for you and your business, and we want to make sure you have everything you need to have a great 2017. We'll be covering a few things for you today. First of all, we'll go through the elements of a successful marketing strategy. Basically, these are the pillars of online marketing that we at Vivial think are most important for your business. Shannon will share with you some marketing trends and predictions for 2017. And then we'll take you through some action items that can really help you create your plan and give you a couple examples. And then we'll round it all out with some resources that you can use from Vivial, and then have some time for Q&A at the end. But we're going to start here with the elements of a successful marketing strategy. At Vivial, we think there's 5 major components of a local online marketing strategy, the ones that we think are the most important. Those are content, email, social media, mobile, and search. And we're going to dive into each one of those a little bit more in depth for you so you know exactly what they are and why they're so important. First off, we've got content. You've probably heard a lot about content marketing recently, and you're wondering how you can apply that to your business. Well, when we're talking about content marketing, we're talking about the art of understanding what it is that your prospects and customers need to know, and then figuring out how to deliver that content to them in a way that's relevant, compelling, and is going to ultimately grow your business. So we're talking about a blog post, coupons, deals, infographics, anything that you can do that's going to convey your message to your potential customers. And in fact, we actually do some of that here at Vivial. And maybe Shannon, could you give us an example of a client that we've helped out with content?
Absolutely. One of my clients actually in the past is a physician's office, and they were looking at hiring new physicians. They had a new physician come on board. And so what they did was they promoted a new article detailing where the physician had come from, what they specialized in, and it helped them get more patients coming into the practice.
Great, that's a great example, Shannon. Thank you so much. So really the idea with content is this is the central pillar of your online marketing strategy, and having clear and consistent messaging and clearly and consistently posted content is actually going to be make your online marketing strategy even easier because it's going to work harder for you.
Right.
When we talk about the importance of content, there's a few key indicators of why this is such a key component of marketing strategies today. And for the first part, 70% of consumers prefer to get to know a business via an article rather than online ads. Think about the ads that you see online when you're searching. You know, they usually don't convey a whole lot of information. You may not get to know the business that much. So through an article, you have a longer form ability to share that content about your business and just share that information in a way that's more meaningful to customers. 90% of consumers find that branded online content is useful and informative. Think about the information that you can get across to your consumers through an article or branded content. It's a whole lot more than you can get through simple advertising. And so this is why this is the basis of online marketing. Then you're going to take snippets of that information from that content and you can use it in those other online marketing tactics. But this is really going to be that crux of everything that you do in your marketing strategy. And last but not least, a whopping over 3/4 of people equate content marketing with relationship building. You're taking the time to get them quality information, and anything about your business that you can put in front of them in that content marketing forum is just going to serve to create better relationships and ultimately grow your business. Moving on to email. Email is an oldie but a goodie. It's been around for a while, and at its purest form, it's actually direct marketing. So it's that one-to-one relationship. You're sending emails, even if you're sending them to 1,000 people, that's one email from you that they're getting in their inbox, and it's that direct connection, that direct relationship with your customers and prospective customers. So when you want to make sure that your message is absolutely getting to the people that you want to get it in front of, and you want to make sure it's read, email is one of the most effective methods of doing that. It blends that intimacy of direct marketing with the speed and power of online marketing. Think how instantaneously your message can get in front of your customers with the click of a button. It's in their inbox. So there's that immediacy there, and you're going to see a return on investment a lot quicker than you will with traditional print and direct marketing. The reason it's so powerful, we've got 145 billion emails sent daily. Now, not all of those are going to be from me to you or from your business to your customers, but that's a whole lot of emails that are getting sent every day. So with 95% of online shoppers using email, it's a great way for your business to get in front of your customers, whether it's sending them a special deal or whatever you want to send them. It's a great way because 95% of those shoppers are using email. And last but not least, this ROI here, $44, over $44 return on every dollar spent in email marketing. That's an ROI unlike anything else in online marketing. So with that kind of ROI, you can hardly afford not to participate in email marketing. Moving on to social media. This is probably one of the hottest and most quickly growing aspects of online marketing today. You can see just a few examples of social media platforms here. We've got Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. The list goes on. The great news about social media is it's available to all businesses. So your business, my business, anybody's business, we can use these social media platforms to get in front of the customers that we want, to grow brand awareness, get the message out to the people that we want in the way we want to get it out there. And for the most part, it's at low or little or no cost to you and I. So that's the great thing, is that it really equalizes the playing field. If you're competing against bigger competitors, it's a really great way to get effectively in front of a lot of people at once. It can give you an opportunity for customer service with a platform in which to have a dialogue with your consumers. And it's a really great way to easily and quickly distribute great and timely information about your business. So I think Shannon's got a great example of a restaurant that we helped out with social media here at Vivial by managing their social media strategy. Can you share with us a little bit about how we helped their business?
Absolutely. So a specific business comes to mind. We did have a restaurant. It was a pizza delivery place, and they had Facebook, Twitter, the basics of social media platform, but they were running a special. It was a $10 off pizza delivery of a certain dollar amount of package, and they were able to post it on their social media sites the day of, and customers would come in and actually show them, hey, I saw this 10% off or $10 off. Can I have this for the pizza delivery? So very effective, very useful, and when people are searching and they're hungry, that's where you're going to reach them.
And I imagine they saw a great boost in business just by distributing this deal on social media. Exactly. Great platform that we can all use and can get that information out quickly and easily. That might have been something they just decided to do the day before, and they could have implemented it very quickly. Exactly. So certainly can be overwhelming as well. So there's lots of services out there, including here at Vivial, that can help you manage that social media strategy and those day-to-day tactics. Social networks are intensely personal. 88% of people on social media trust online reviews as much as they do a recommendation from a personal friend. So we really want to make sure that we're getting you those reviews on social media, that we're getting people to comment about your business on social media, because 92% of consumers need and read online reviews. They want to know about your business before they make that purchase decision. And they're going to turn to these social networks. 46% of them turn there for personal recommendations before they're making a purchase decision. So if they want to know who's a great baker in their area, they're going to go on to Facebook and ask their friends, hey, who do you know that's in my area? So you want to make sure that your business is there and that your business is present and has great information on social media to really get that personal connection with those potential and current customers. Now moving on to mobile. Mobile is probably, for me, second only to content. Mobile searches are dramatically overtaking desktop searches at this time. We know that the searching habits of users these days are changing. People are searching from their mobile device even while they're sitting on their couch at night. You know, when the commercial for the TV show comes on, they're on their phone searching through there. So you want to make sure that at every moment that they might be looking for services or products that you provide, that you are providing them with a mobile-friendly experience or responsive website. We can't stress enough that if there's a website, if you have a website, or maybe you don't have a website, but if you have a website that is not responsive, it's not mobile-friendly, if someone comes searching and they land on your site and they're on a mobile device and it's not a good experience, they're likely never coming back to your website and they're going to be moving on to your competitor. So really, really key that you've got a great mobile-friendly experience so that you can connect with customers at the exact moment that they're looking for what you and your business have to offer. So we want to make sure that you've got that mobile-friendly experience. If you're not sure if your website's mobile-friendly, we've got a link here in the slide for Google's mobile-friendly test. Plug your website into their little tool there. It'll tell you how mobile-friendly your website is. If it's not mobile-friendly or maybe you don't have a website, give us a call at Vivial. We can help you get one or make sure that you do have a mobile experience. Why does it matter though? Well, as we just talked about, you know, mobile is growing by leaps and bounds. 81% of the conversions from mobile search happen within 5 hours of the search. So we were talking a moment ago about the immediacy of email. Mobile searches are another immediate way to get in front of people. If they find you on their mobile device when they're searching, you can bet something's going to happen in those next 5 hours. And if not in those next 5 hours, if you have a product or a service, you can bet that within 24 hours, at least half of those local mobile searches are going to produce either a phone call or a visit to your business. So that's why it's so imperative to make sure that you have a primary, beautiful mobile experience. Local search. This is something we specialize here at Vivial because it's so important, especially for local businesses like yours. Local SEO, what we're talking about there is that your small local business is increasing your page ranking on search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo. You want to make sure that your business is listed at the top and at the bottom all the way through. You want to dominate the search results for searches related to your business. And the easiest way to do that is to have a consistent business listing in directories. There's over 100 online business directories. And for those of you that think that maybe those aren't as important as they used to be, there's something like 40% of local searches happen in directories. So it's important to make sure that your business information is accurate in those directories. How do you do that? You can include keywords in your business description. You can choose industry-specific categories and tags. You can upload images, pictures, video, anything to make your listing more visually engaging, especially if you've got a business that is predicated on good-looking products. You're a landscaper, you're a contractor, somebody wants to see evidence of your good work. Make sure you're giving it to them at every turn. And at the end of the day, add links back to your website so that customers can learn more. This may sound overwhelming to try to do this in 100 directories. It is doable, but there are also services and companies out there that can help with that. So if you've got any questions about how to do that, just let us know and we'd be happy to help you.
Right, and we will be providing additional resources at the end of the presentation. So we will not leave you, or we'll leave you with resources that you can use moving forward.
Exactly, we won't leave you hanging.
Exactly.
So that said, Shannon, would you like to tell us a little bit about some predictions for 2017?
I would love to. As I mentioned earlier, I manage the social media team, so we're in social media every hour, every day. We know what's working, what's not working, what the trends are looking like. Now, I won't guarantee that all of our predictions are 100% accurate, but I'm going to say they're pretty close. So without further ado, I'm going to dive right into some of the predictions that we'd like to line out for the upcoming 2017 year. So let's start off with Instagram. Some of you may know or may not know that Facebook bought Instagram back in 2012. Since then, we've seen massive growth in the social media network. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's a visual-centric platform focused on photos and very visual content. So very useful for boutique hotels or stores, retail stores, things like that, as far as businesses go. So going into what we foresee Instagram looking like as Facebook and Instagram look to integrate even further now that they are owned by the same company. You're going to continue to see this huge growth in Instagram. It's surpassed Twitter, so it's very, very quickly becoming a major network. And as well as that, it's also becoming a more pay-to-play platform, unfortunately. So you will probably have seen some of those sponsored posts out there, click for 10% off, or those ads out there from businesses. Now, how can you capitalize on these changes that Instagram is making, and really in the social media sphere as these platforms develop and where you need to be. As these networks become more pay to play, make sure that you are capitalizing on those ads, because surprisingly, they actually have some pretty good recall. If you can create a very visual centric, appealing ad, Instagram, for example, the ad recall is 2.8 times higher than other networks, which means people are seeing your information, they're seeing your business, and they are remembering it, which is ultimately at the end of the day what your business wants to see. Also with that, make sure that you have your social networks as directory listings. So even making sure that you have a presence, however small or however large, so as these social networks get bigger, you are maintaining that presence. And then moving on to search. So Laura mentioned earlier that local search is very crucial for your business, especially small businesses. And we predict that search is going to expand. Now, it is right now you typically think of search as like Google searches, search engines. However, that expansion is going to go beyond search engines and actually go into different networks. And you probably are already doing this, and you may not realize it. For example, when I'm searching for recipes at the end of the day, and I want to find a crock-pot recipe, I usually go to Pinterest because I know I'm going to have good quality results. They have the try it now button feature, and that's where I search my recipes. Now you may not realize it, but that's now quickly becoming a search tool. They're developing their algorithms to get better targeted guided searches. Other social media networks are also developing these, such as Facebook is putting a lot of research into developing their search engines. So what does this mean for you? Absolutely essential that you have your social media pages. Let me repeat that. Even as a directory listing or a site where people can find your information. Along with that, now that data is becoming more searchable, so in Google searches, but also in Facebook searches and in Pinterest searches, having your information out there, having your reviews optimized, is absolutely essential, because they're now going to be found at a higher level and more frequently. Social media is going to play a major part in searches upcoming. Along with that, localized search. If you are on an app, for example, or you're looking for a restaurant, mobile phones are now allowing location-based services, which means that you need to absolutely have your detail on your information for your local business optimized. All right, moving on to targeting. Now, what do I mean by targeting? When you think of a child care center and who they would want their market to be, you're probably not going to target the really old or the very young. You're going to go in a happy medium where parents would be looking for information. So you want to create targeted advertising, whether that's through social media, whether that's through pay-per-click or search engine marketing, whether that's through SEO or keyword or content, or all these different ways that you can utilize the different platforms. As targeting becomes more refined and they come up with better capabilities for targeting, you definitely want to see if you can capitalize on that. Whether you have a big spend or a little spend, the more efficient your targeting can become, the better your dollars are going to work for you. So as a business, absolutely making sure that any ads that you're using online are utilized effectively with targeting. And then lastly here, video gets the most views. If you guys have been scrolling through Facebook recently, you've probably noticed that about maybe 1 in every 3 posts is a video. Video is by and large becoming one of Facebook's bread and butter. I always like to use the example of those tasty videos where they're making this really gourmet meal, and every single time I'm automatically a captive audience.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And
For
so
sure.
for your business, that's what you want. You want to put those videos out there, get that captive audience, make them watch that video, whether you're making a video of still photos or whether you're actually filming a real video. That's absolutely going to capture an audience more so than just text or even a photo.
Exactly.
So making sure that you're really capitalizing on that. Now, there are some easy tools out there for business owners for creating videos. I know that it's a little intimidating. Video can be intimidating,
Yeah.
especially if you don't know where to start. But there's a lot of easy software that you can use that's free online, such as things like Nutshell, Adobe Spark, and it's a really great resource.
Definitely. Great. Well, thank you so much, Shannon. I think this has been very helpful for all
Absolutely.
of us to know what's coming down the pike here in 2017 so we can know how to plan for it. But I'm sure most of you sitting out there are waiting for us to get to the real bread and butter, which is how do I build the marketing plan? What are the steps I take to build this marketing plan? So the first step that we think is absolutely crucial is to do a SWOT analysis. Most of you, if you're running your own business, you've probably heard of a SWOT analysis, but we're just going to run through at a very high level what that does for you. So starting in the top left corner of this grid here, we're going to start with strengths and then moving to weaknesses. Both strengths and weaknesses are things that you want to look for that are internal to your organization. They're internal to your business. These are things that you can control as your business. So these are things that may have to do with your specific industry. They may have to do with your business and what you can and cannot do. They may be related to your customer service, your products that you offer, your services, anything like that. It may have to do with your employees or the resources that you have. Weaknesses, on the contrary, would be things that you maybe have that are limited. Maybe you have few resources or a limited budget. Maybe you have little know-how on these technical digital marketing strategies. So these are going to be things that are going to be personal to you and your business. When you move into opportunities and threats, you're moving outside of your organization. This is going to be more specific to your industry, to online marketing in general. This might be the advancement of some of these technologies, these opportunities that Shannon was just talking to you about in targeting and in video and in Instagram. Those might be some big opportunities for your business in 2017. So you're going to want to list some of those. Then you're going to move into threats. Those are also things that are really outside of your control, but that you want to identify so that you can work around them and you can plan for how you're going to mitigate the risk that those threats bring to your business. So we'll move into some examples here. Just at a high level, we might be looking through some examples of strengths as that you have good ratings and reviews. You're a great business, so you've got a lot of customers that really look at you and say, this is a great 5-star location, a 5-star business. So you might be able to use that to your advantage in your marketing strategy. Maybe you have a mobile-friendly website already. That's working for you. That's great. That's a great place to be. And maybe you don't have a website. That's okay. That might be one of your weaknesses, that you don't even have a website. You may have a great database of customers and prospects. It means you've got a captive audience that you can email this content that we know you'll be creating. So that's another strength. Maybe you've got a really clear niche within your business. Maybe you specialize in something that none of your competitors specialize in. That's going to be another great competitive advantage that you're going to want to take advantage of in your online marketing strategy. Moving into your weaknesses, you may have incorrect business listings. Maybe you've run that free report we talked about and noticed that you had a lot of business listing errors. Maybe your phone number was listed wrong in 60 of those directories. That's a weakness. If they try to call you, they're not going to be able to call you. They're going to be calling somebody else. You may have a small marketing budget. There certainly are ways around that, but if you don't identify that as a weakness, you're not going to be able to identify ways around that. Maybe you have outdated technology. Again, workarounds, but you've got to identify that weakness so you can plan for how you're going to work around it and make up for it. opportunities and threats. Opportunities, like I said, we went through it already. There's a lot of opportunities in online marketing, whether it's content or email, social media. There's new platforms, Facebook Live, whether it's video, whatever it is. There's a ton of opportunities coming down the pike this year that you can take advantage of to give yourself that competitive advantage. And then into threats, again, same with weaknesses, but these are external. There's lots of changing trends. We've talked about a lot already today in the short 25 minutes we've been together. There's a lot of things that if you're not jumping on that bandwagon could be a threat, because chances are your competitors are going to take advantage of those opportunities. So if you're not, that's definitely a threat. So you want to make sure that you're identifying all those threats so that we can then make a plan for moving past those. Now, what do you do after you have the SWOT analysis? I mean, you're probably saying, Laura, that's great, but where's the action items? How do we put that into an actionable plan for our marketing strategy this year? Basically, what you're going to do is take every bullet point out of your SWOT analysis and assign an action to it. So for every strength, for every weakness, for every opportunity, and every threat you have listed, you're going to put an action item down in your plan. So for your strengths, you've got that huge database of customers and products. Start emailing them. Whatever it is, get a good, strong message in front of them. Make sure it's useful and informative, but get a good, strong message in front of them and email them. That's the best thing you can do, is keep that relationship going. If your weakness was that you have a lot of those business errors that we were talking about, business listing errors, you're going to go ahead and put an action item to run our free Vivial SEO report for your business, identify those errors, and then fix them. Optimize those listings. Whether you're doing it yourself or whether you're calling Vivial to help you, whatever it is, get those errors fixed and those listings optimized. For one of your opportunities, would be that you have a lot of content that you've created. Start recycling that. Put it on blog posts, put it on other platforms, email, social media, whatever you do. Just make sure that you're availing yourselves of all of these opportunities that the industry has to offer. Instagram, get yourself on Instagram. Take the content you already have from your blog post, put it on Instagram, put some images and some text, and boom, you've got an Instagram post. For your threats, if you don't know how to keep up with the technology that's coming, and by all means, there's a lot to keep up with, and we know that for sure. Subscribe to the Vivial blog and stay up to date on those online marketing trends and changes. It's a great way to make sure that you're constantly mitigating the risk that comes in through those threats. So what you're going to do, go through your entire SWOT analysis, and for every bullet point in there, you're going to create an action item, and before you know it, you're going to have that marketing plan. Then what you want to do, lay it out. There's 52 weeks in a year. Just start putting your action items in for every week. And what you'll start to see is, as you start putting these action items into your calendar, you'll see how really it can work for you. If you say in week 13, I'm going to write a blog post about X, Y, and Z, then weeks 14, 15, and 16, you can repurpose that blog post through email, through social media, and you're really not duplicating your work. You're not putting in a whole lot more effort, but because you had a clear and concise plan and you knew what you were doing in the given weeks, you were able to make that content and make what you are doing work that much harder for you. So definitely want to get it all into a calendar, because then you can also see how I can use it, how I can repurpose things and get things across all of those distribution channels. Make sure you're not missing the mark on anything. Shannon, I think we've got some additional resources to share with them.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We don't want to leave you high and dry. I know there's not enough hours in the day for you guys to be experts at what we do, and also what you do, which is most importantly running your business and making sure that you have customers coming in the door. So these additional resources are really created for you in mind. Of course, there is the Vivial.net page, and you can, if you go to Vivial.net, there's a lot of free tools there. There's our blog and of course our webinars that are all free resources for you. We also have free consultations, so if you want us to take a look at your current business, where your strengths and weaknesses and opportunities are, we'd be happy to do so. And then of course we are going to be sending out this document after the webinar. So you will have this to kind of fall back on as a cheat sheet per se. Now, as far as moving forward with our webinar, we do have some questions coming in through the chat, and we want to make sure we allow some time for you guys to ask the questions that you've maybe been thinking of over the past couple weeks, and hopefully we spark some interest through our conversation today.
Exactly. So keep them coming. We've got a few here that we'll start out with, and we can keep going. So keep sending those questions in. One question we have from a customer, I think I'm going to let Shannon, you take this one. I think they want some clarification on what we mean by having their social media pages as a directory listing.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to answer. So what I mean by a directory listing, first and foremost, directory listing, think of as an online phone book per se. So, back in olden days, it's still around, but you would flip through the yellow pages and you would find your business's phone number, their address, any, details that you would need to talk to the business. So the same goes for directory listings or online listings. These social media pages are, one, they're so active that they are directory listings for your business because Facebook has how many users on it, Instagram, Twitter has that many users, who can find your information on those sites. Also, they show up in local search, so you want to make sure that your information is correct.
Yeah. It's actually a crucial place to be, especially if you don't yet have a website. I know I live in a small town. There's a lot of small businesses in my area that don't have websites yet, and we definitely want to get them websites. But in the meantime, if they've got that Facebook page that's got all their business information, if I search for a Chinese restaurant in Winchester, Indiana, I'm going to get our local China house, their Facebook listing, and then I can at least see their business information there. So it is a really great way to basically get your information out there. So yeah, definitely a really good thing to have. We've got another question. What do I need to do in order to consider to help me figure out how much I should budget for online marketing and advertising? That's a great question. I mean, the question always is, how much do I need to spend? And really, the sky is the limit. I mean, you can go huge, or the great news is you can do it on a shoestring budget. You're going to get what you put in for sure. But I think what I would do first is start to figure out what the value is of your customers. Obviously, if you're a lawyer or a realtor, where each new client, each prospective client that you bring in is going to bring you a significant chunk of revenue, you would be able to spend a bit more to acquire that customer. So what I would start thinking is, how much is a new customer or a new client worth to you? And then we can work backwards from there to figure out, okay, how much are you willing to spend, to acquire that customer? Then we can say, if it's a small budget, this is where we're going to focus our efforts. Maybe we're going to focus on social media or directory listings. Maybe we're going to, what are we going to focus on? So that's what I would do, is to start first and foremost with, what's a new customer worth to you? And then we can figure out how to spend your budget from there. As always, Shannon was talking about those free consultations. If you're not sure how to figure out what a new customer is worth to you, give us a call. We'll help you think through it and figure out where you would be the best way to spend your money.
Absolutely. And to add on to that, if you talk about social media or pay-per-click, there's absolutely a minimum budget that you could spend, and you can cap it off at that. And then you can track how you're doing, so you can always change after the fact.
Gotcha, definitely. I think that's really important to note. So we've got another question here from a viewer. I need to advertise to a specific niche of my area. I am a delivery service that only services doorman buildings. Is there a way to narrow down my advertising to a specific criteria such as doorman buildings? There definitely are a lot of ways in the world these days to target your advertising. So a few of the things we can do in advertising on social media, you can narrow down to a niche target audience. You can do the same in search engine marketing or pay-per-click, which Shannon was talking to you about a bit ago. So there's a number of techniques that we can use in various types of advertising to narrow down the target and make sure that your advertising dollars are only going towards the audience that you want to see your advertising. And in addition, what we can do is we can work on generating leads with the right types of audience, so that then you can build an email list, you can build a following with the audience that you're interested in. So absolutely, there are a lot of different types of online advertising and online marketing that you can use in order to attract your ideal audience. So definitely.
Right. And with targeting, if you think about the customer that you're looking to get, specifically if it was, I think it was doors, garage doors or entry doors, you want to think about, what would somebody who needs your services also be searching for online? Because the way targeting works is it pulls search history. So if somebody just bought a home, maybe you want to start targeting people in that specific, maybe they bought a home, they have a family, those kinds of things. Think of all of those different pieces that could play into your targeting. And ultimately, you're going to find a better customer if you can define who they are as a persona as well.
Exactly. So important. Another question we've got here is blogging still a big marketing tool? Absolutely. Anytime you can get that content out there in front of potential customers, this is exactly what we were talking about with content marketing. Whether you're putting that content on a blog, whether you're putting it on social media, whether you're putting it, through whatever, through email, sending it out, content is going to work the hardest for you. So absolutely still keep creating that content, still keep getting that content in front of your customers. And it's absolutely super great. I think we've got time for a couple more questions. I'm going to ask one more and then we'll get to the last question here. I do want Shannon to answer this one. We had someone ask how often you should post or tweet to keep your name out there but not be redundant.
Okay, so there's a lot of different thought processes on what you should be promoting, what you should be posting on social media. We typically at Vivial, we keep a 20%, 80% rule. So 20% of your content should be promotional material. So about the business, about your services, talking about your business. 80% of that should be more engagement focused. So, sharing interesting stories, sharing facts that your client or your customer base might be interested in hearing, really trying to get customers to engage with you on the social media pages. So that can be promotions, that can be contests, that can be, submit your favorite holiday photo. I know that's a little late, but maybe spring cleaning. What are you doing for spring cleaning? Because ultimately social media, first and foremost, is to build your brand and build relationships. And that's what you want to do first. The selling comes as you build that relationship. So really, we stick with the 80-20 rule.
Perfect. That's really helpful. And that's, I think, a very actionable statistic that people can use to keep in mind how much they're posting and how that should work. So we're going to get to our last question here. But before we do, a couple of housekeeping items. If we didn't get to your question, there were a lot of really great questions and we just don't have time for every single one of them today. You can stay on and we will continue to answer questions via chat. And if that doesn't work for you, if you've got to get going and get back to running your business, you can always email us at gethelp@vivial.net, or you can always subscribe to our blog, or you can contact us at the number and email address on the screen. After our last question, we're also going to show you a short video to give you a little bit more information about who we are at Vivial. And keep in mind, too, that we have another webinar coming up for you guys next month, why it's important for small businesses to have a website. But before we do that, we've got one final question that I think is really important. We've got a question from Dayton, Ohio. What makes you guys different and why should I use Vivial? Great question. I know you've heard us talk a lot today about some of the things that we can do. I think maybe we'll both take an opportunity to answer this. You'll get some different perspectives here. For me, one of the things I think that sets us apart at Vivial is that we've got a passion for small businesses. We know that the most important thing is for you to connect and engage with your current and potential customers. And we've got the tools and really, quite frankly, the staff and expertise to help you do that. And furthermore, there's a lot of services out there. Say you don't have a website, since that's our topic for next month. Maybe you don't have a website yet, and that's okay. We know there's a lot of services out there, services where you can build your own, but quite frankly, if you're focusing on running your business, your expertise probably isn't building a website. So one of the things that's great about us is that at that same affordable price and at that affordable price point for small businesses, we're going to do it for you. We've got the expertise. We can come in and do it for you, talk with you, make sure we've got your requirements all down, and we'll do it for you. And on the things that we don't totally do for you, we are there with you to guide you every step of the way. Everything we do comes with that account coordinator that's going to guide you through how to do this. So, I think that's something that really sets us apart is that service element and the fact that we have a passion for small businesses. We only work with small and local businesses. That's what we do. So we know it like the back of our hands. So I think that's really special.
Right, and I have to agree. And coming from the client services, part of the company, I deal with, or I speak with customers on a daily basis, and they don't have, you guys don't have time to be spending becoming digital experts, and that's why we're here to walk you through it, and also, develop that relationship with you. So when you have a question over maybe a review that you got and you don't know how to respond, or what can I do to get more promotional, on social media? Well, we are that voice on the phone, and we'll email you and respond to you and really give you that advice and that question. So we'll be that go-to person for you. So you do know where to find the answers, even if you don't have them yourself. So I think by and large, it's really our team of people that makes makes us stand apart.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So with that, we will leave you guys. We want to thank you so much for joining us today. We've had a great time talking to you guys about your online marketing plan. Hopefully we answered your questions. If we didn't, stick around on the chat. We'll answer some more there. Always, you can email us at gethelp@vivial.net. And don't forget to register for that upcoming webinar, Why It's Important for Small Businesses to Have a Website. That's coming up in the middle of February, and we'll be happy to talk to you guys then. And for that, we'll sign off and say goodbye, and check out the video that we've got coming right after this, and you can learn a little bit more about who we are and what we do. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.